Okay, this is just a little video to demonstrate the workings of my home-built twin jet throttle that can of course double as a piston prop with extra additions either side, simulating mixture and prop. As you can see here, the centre shaft has a bush, the central bush here, which is larger than the central 25mm shaft, and has a compression spring that applies force to either of these sides. And these are just nylon shims, bushes that I've mounted in here in order to provide some form of friction. It runs quite freely, but enough that it won't move out of its intended position. And I just want to show you the workings of my cam, homemade cam, to simulate the reverses. As you can see here, if I can move this down, this cam I've placed will hit this bottom rod in order to stop it at that position. And here I've made a lever simulating a bit like an Airbus reverser lever, where we lift this up and there's a wire trace attached to this cam that runs up the centre of this unit here. This comes apart in 4 sections, so I've routed some grooves in here and attached a wire to the underside of this lever here. You can just see it there running down through. The light's not too good, but the cable trace wire runs down through here and moves this cam up and down, and the spring tension here allows it to slip back. So the action is to bring the throttle back to idle and then pull the cam. It will slip back a bit further and it will place it in the reverser position, with the reversers of course all configured in FSU IPC. Also just showing the action of the pot rotations. I have trace wire attached to the pulley levers, which are attached to the handle levers, throttles and mixtures, and the trace wire is tensioned by spring, and the trace wire runs down around each handle and then crossed over to attach to the pot cam here, which is just a piece of plastic. It's actually a kid's toy block set which I've used. And the trick here is to cross over the wires if you haven't done this before, in order to get a good, secure and tight action. Cross over the wires in order to turn the pot, as well as providing a screw locking mechanism here. That pretty much is the action. All of the levers are basically a repetition of the one. Originally I had the centre body built, which was this section here, but then made these smaller attachments either side when I realised I wanted a truly multi-function type of throttle arrangement, and it works really, really well. As you can see, the top handles are a cotton reel style handle top, and they're simply drilled and glued into the tips of these handles. I made these out of plastic and routed them from a template, and they're just pointy at the top. They do have a hole drilled down through the centre of them here into this body, which is routed out inside these other sections so that we can fit cabling for the press buttons, which are the auto throttle disconnect on these levers usually. Now these are formed like they're a cotton reel, and you could use a real cotton reel, I guess, if you wanted to. These were actually formed by my friend Gwyn at AeroSim Solutions, and he's also fitted the small button indent inside here because he has all the tools for it. I have quite rudimentary tools in the garage, so didn't have quite the ability to make some of the finer points of this throttle. But I did build all of these top parts here and the reversers, and it works like an absolute treat. It flies wonderfully, and when you pop into reverse, and you can have separate action for left and right reverses, and it just works marvellously. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into how this little baby works, and maybe you can build one yourself. Thank you.